Cajun Classic Cars TV is powered by McCary Auction and Goodwood Hardware and Outdoors in Baton Rouge. Once again, you've landed on Cajun Classic Cars TV. Thanks for watching. Here we are again in the Toledo Bend area, and from the Toledo Cruisers Car Club, I've got Don once again. Don, tell us what vehicle we're going to talk about.
1947 Dodge.
1947 Dodge pick-em-up truck, and it is great. This episode is powered by McCary Auction. Check them out at McCaryAuction.com.
Your cars are the stars. Cajun Classic Cars TV.
Don, before we get to your Dodge here, tell us about what started your love of old rides, man.
My dad.
Your dad?
I guess that happens a lot, but my dad sold used cars. He was a used car salesman for years. He would bring home a different car every week and drive it all week, and sometimes he'd let me drive it. So, I mean, it was just, you name the car, Dad brought it home. And I just, all my life, I love cars. Get it. When I was little, I was, of course, in there just doing,
And the wheel felt like it was that big.
Well, yeah. Right, exactly. And then later, he actually let me drive some of them old cars.
Nice. What era cars would he bring home? We're talking, what?
50s.
50s, okay, all right.
Mostly 50s and early 60s.
Yeah.
Probably a 65 Ford Galaxy was the newest car he ever brought home. And he ended up giving that, my mother said, no, I want that car. And she took it. And he retired not too long after that. So 65 was the newest.
That's a great story. Thanks for sharing,
There
man.
was a 1938, I think, DeSoto that he brought home
yeah.
one time that I fell in love with that car, and I begged him and begged him and begged him, Dad, you just need to buy this car. But he didn't. He sold it, so.
Yeah. The DeSoto, that's what the Cunninghams on Happy Days drove.
Yeah.
There's sort of a car that got away with me as far as, since you said DeSoto. I was living in North Alabama. We were about 45 minutes from Mississippi, and a guy had for sale a 60s DeSoto, and but it had an amazing backstory behind it. It had been in a moonshine bust, and they actually had the newspaper clipping of the moonshine bust with the police tape and the police looking into the trunk
That's too cool.
of the DeSoto. And I thought, could you imagine at car shows having old whiskey bottles with the X's on it, like on the cartoons,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
And, you know, life comes along and more babies come along, and more babies means less DeSoto.
True. Every time.
So, Don, tell us something about your Dodge pickup, man.
Oh, I was in the car club in Amarillo, and we always went to the NSRA events in Oklahoma City and Pueblo and Missouri, Springfield. Every year we always went up. Well, though at the time, those cars had a cutoff of 1948. So anything newer than 1948 couldn't get into the show. Well, I might drive the Chevy, or I had a Camaro too for a while. We'd drive those, but I'd have to park outside the gate. It was just awful. Everybody else get to walk, drive in. I'd have to walk into the event. And so I got to find something older than 1948. So I one day went to O'Reilly's Auto Parts looking for something for this Chevy, and a kid drove up in this truck, although it was in primer and pretty bad shape. But high school kid, junior in high school, he went in for something for the truck, and I got to talking with him, and he said, you know, I don't know, my dad bought me the truck, but I don't like it. I'm like, or would you be interested in selling it? He said, well.
You were like, ding!
Ding.
Did the light bulb?
The light bulb, ding, ding, ding. So give me your phone number. I'm gonna call you Dad. Called his dad, and we're still at O'Reilly parking lot. I'm talking to Dad on the phone, and I said, hey, I've got a 79 Camaro. I might be interested in trading in for this 47 Dodge pickup. He said, bring it over. So he was ready to get his son into a car instead of the truck. He didn't want to do all the work on the truck because the Camaro was basically finished, ready to roll, and he didn't want to do the work on the truck. So long story short, we made a deal. I got a truck, the kid got the Camaro, and we haven't looked back.
It's a match made in car heaven.
It did. It worked out for both of us. Outside, of course, is probably the paint job. That was another one of those. We went to an NSRA event to find a color, basically, for the truck, and there was another car there with basically those same kind of colors. I fell in love with the colors, came home, went and bought some paint. Decided, you know what, I can paint this car. Yeah, I can do that. Never had done it before, but you know, YouTube is great. Google, all that. So after a little bit of research and buying a paint gun and buying some paint, fixed up my garage and went and bought an air compressor, and lo and behold, I painted the truck. The other thing you'll notice about the truck is it doesn't have a bed. The bed that was on it was homemade. Somebody had made, and it was horrible. It was bad and ugly, and I went to looking for original bed for a 47 Dodge. You can't find them. They're rusted through, or they want $3 million for them. So I thought, you know what? I wonder what I could do. I'm gonna make me a bed. Come to find out, about that time, there was a tree on my property, a hickory tree that had died. And I thought, well, I'm gonna cut that tree down, make me some firewood. And then again, the light bulb went off, ding, ding, ding. You know what? I could cut that hickory tree up, and turn it into planks and make me a bed. So that's exactly what I did. I took it to a little sawmill about 5 miles from here. He cut it up into planks, charged me $40 to cut that tree up into planks. So of course then I get the planks home, then you gotta sand them and all that kind of stuff and make it all pretty. That took a while and a little bit of elbow grease, but ended up with a bed.
Well, it looks like you've got your priorities straight. You've got something to open up your beverages up front, right?
Yeah, you know, emergencies happen occasionally. So, you know, you have to be prepared. That's the old Boy Scout in me, I guess. The headlights are actually motorcycle chopper headlights.
I was going to ask you.
The headlights that come on this thing are like twice the size of that. They're huge and kind of funky looking, and they sit on the fender, and I always thought it looked a little bug-eyed.
So tell us about the wheels.
Well, the wheels are center lines. I looked far and wide for some kind of wheel, but I didn't want one that everybody had.
Well, you mentioned you did the paint, so therefore, did you do the striping as well?
I did the masking for the lines and painted it, but I had a brother-in-law that was a pinstriper. He came in and did the little purple line that outlines the whole, everywhere there's a...
By hand?
By hand.
Isn't that fascinating to look at?
It drives me crazy.
I don't know. Those guys should be surgeons.
They should be, and I tried it. I went and bought one of those brushes and some paint, and I'm like, my hands like, I can't do it. Those guys are artists. It's amazing to me.
All right, let's take a look at the power plant. This old Dodge here.
Dodge 318, board 30 oak. Other than that, bone stock.
Easily one of the most popular motors in automotive history. The 318.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can't kill them. They just keep going and going and going. It's got a 727 transmission in it, automatic. Rear end is stock.
Auto Accident Help Desk.
Welcome to Auto Accident Help Desk. We're a free service and we're open 24/7. If you or someone you know has been injured in a motor vehicle accident and do not have an attorney, call Auto Accident Help Desk right now for a free consultation. At the help desk is my colleague, Justin. Tell us more about the callers.
Leah, thanks for having me. We're getting calls for truck, motorcycle, and most of all, car accidents. If you or someone you know was injured in an accident and were not at fault, give us a call right now. You'll speak with a live professional who will answer your questions and explain how much your case may be worth.
Folks, don't worry about your medical bills, lost wages, and pain. Call Auto Accident Help Desk right now.
Call 800-807-0744. 800-807-0744. 800-807-0744.
Auto Accident Help Desk.
Shaved door handles, nothing on the outside. I have to reach in to open the door.
All right, Don, tell us about the inside, man.
Interior was done in 2 stages. After the paint course, I lived in Amarillo at the time, and I had a good friend in our car club that did the seat for me. Then he got sick and said, I'm not gonna be able to finish your truck, you need to come get it. So I went and picked it up. He did a great job on the seat, but there was no door panels, there was no anything else that was left. So about that time I was moving to Louisiana. So I came down to Louisiana, I started looking for an upholsterer, couldn't find one. And lo and behold, I had a cousin, I found out, that did upholstery in Shreveport. I hadn't seen him in 10 years, but got to talking through the family, and somebody said, you need to call him. So I called him. Sure enough, he was busy as heck. Took him several months. I took it to him. It took him a while to get it done, but he put the headliner in and the door panels and all that stuff. So that worked out for me. Even gave me a good price.
Here's Rat Fink.
My riding buddy. My Rat Fink riding buddy.
New gauges, of course.
New gauges, of course. Gotta have good gauges.
Tell us, I like the spark plug. Is that your indicator for your parking and driving?
That was an NSRA thing to get a safety inspection, to get, they would do a 14-point inspection on your car. One of the things to get that sticker that said you passed was an indicator for your shift. And there was no indicator on this column. So I got some press-on letters and put the PRND21 on the dash, just pressed them on. Then how am I gonna point? I found an old spark plug and some glue, glued the spark plug on there. And as I change gears, the spark plug moves to the pointers.
So what are these guys?
Fan, got an electric fan in the front, on or off. For parades, it's always on. And lights, L for lights, and W for wiper. I have one wiper.
Because the passenger doesn't really need to see.
She don't need to see. All right, you want me to start her up? Let's give her a shot. See what she sounds like.
Don, thanks once again for sharing your old Dodge here. And boy, what a surprise when I got here to film you and your wife's car. All of a sudden, 2 or 3 other guys start showing up. So bless your heart. Oh man, bless your heart, because it's great finding subjects and meeting people for Cajun Classic Cars TV, and safe travels on the road, man.
Thank you, sir.
You guys look on Facebook for Toledo Cruisers car show or car club and find about their shows. They help out a lot of great charities. Thanks for watching Cajun Classic Cars TV. Find us at our website, CajunClassicCarsTV.com, on Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube.